So after the programming session, now we are going into the database session. The things are easy, little bit of Java will come here and there, that's all. But all the remaining things should be very fine. Last year or when I was, okay, by the way, Vatsal, if you don't know, husband of.
That's how people know me, yeah.
So that's Claudia, and this is Suresh. All right, so this is when I was taking the class for him, maybe I would say 30-40% of the penetration. After that, a sudden hike has happened, and it is becoming very prominent in the world now. MongoDB. It's a database. Okay, so you will see I am not taking this session as a MongoDB session. That is another 2-3 months course. I just wanted to introduce you, and there is a specific reason why I am adding it in a Hadoop course. Hadoop and MongoDB are not related at all. But there is something that you will learn towards the end, that what is the reason why we are adding it into this session. The most important thing is we are covering this under a big umbrella called NoSQL databases. So the first thing to learn is what's meant by NoSQL. What does that mean? Does that mean you cannot apply SQL and SQL is not supported?
Not only C.
Yeah. So the full form of NoSQL is not only SQL, which means that it is an additional layer or additional facility on the top of SQL. So SQL is also applicable, and there are so many other things on the top of it. Okay. It is a very, very prominent database, as I mentioned. It is growing. Many companies are using it. Preferably in the healthcare, you will see a lot of MongoDB databases. There is a specific reason for that, which you will understand soon. Now, let's understand one by one what are the concepts, right? So this is just an agenda. Don't worry about this. It is just the history that it is an open source database. Of course, if you want commercial support, you will have to buy that commercial support like Cloudera and Hortonworks for Hadoop. Similar way, there are company, 10gen is one company which is giving you the support for MongoDB. So you may need to do it, but you don't have to if you know how to use it. As you can see, eBay is using this one, and MetLife, this Telefonica, all these are very, very big companies, as you know. MetLife is in the insurance sector, and MTV Network is using MongoDB. It is a very, very flexible and useful framework. This is a little bit of old slide, but you can see the prominence of MongoDB after HTML5. In that time, MongoDB was rated as second in terms of the jobs. Do you know how to use MongoDB? Do you manage MongoDB, etc.? There are so many different types of databases. This is from Google. Key value stores is a general invention. Then MongoDB. Then you have RDBMS. And please look at this. This is very important. The x-axis is depth of functionality, and the y-axis is stability and performance. As you can obviously see, whether Hadoop or Spark or any kind of technology, let it be there, nobody can come near to RDBMS in the world of depth of functionality. I want to completely agree with marking this in this particular scale for scalability and performance. If you look at Oracle, one of the best databases in the world, is it not scalable? Is it not performing? It is, right? So it is maybe having a very higher rate. Maybe it will come here or something like that. But this may be a marketing slide where they wanted to show something about MongoDB. Why RDBMS is so successful? RDBMS stands for Relational Database Management Systems. in relational database management systems, everything is a relation. What is a relation? It is nothing but another word for table. You normally should not say that RDBMS is all about tables. You should say it's all about relations. Why? A relation can be a table, a relation can be an index, a relation can be an alternate key, foreign key relationship, a relation can be a view. So the general term should be a relation. RDBMS completely consists of relations. RDBMS is governed by 12 very famous rules called code rules. It is around 70s or 80s at that time. Code rules came up and told that any storage system should satisfy all these 12 in order to be called as an RDBMS. Then the companies started competing each other, telling that my database satisfies 10 rules, my database supports 11 rules, so on and so forth. But Oracle is high in the circle, maybe around 10 or 11 of the code rules. And it is highly stable. And it has got all the advanced features that you can think of if you look at an additional or a relational database management system. Now, a great, a scientist in the world of computer science is Martin Fowler, one of the great scientists. Is called often as the father of refactoring. If you know what does that mean, refactoring is the facility by which your code or your system will be refactored into smaller modules and then you combine everything together. Basically, divide and conquer strategy. That particular style of programming was introduced and used a lot. He works for a company called ThoughtWorks and he's a chief scientist there, Martin Fowler. And what I would suggest you to do is, if suppose you go to the browser and if you type a word POLYGLOT, polyglot persistence, and then press enter, the first thing you see is polyglot persistence by Martin Fowler is what you will see, and click on that. You will see that polyglot persistence and you will see a particular diagram there. And just for illustration purposes, I will make it bigger and you will see the diagram like this. What does this mean? What Martin Fowler says is that, and that is what is happening in the industry, is that if I ask you, say 15 years back, how many databases were there in your company, you have only one answer. You may say Oracle, or you may say SQL Server, or you may say Teradata, that's it. But if I ask you how many databases are there in your company now, the answer is going to be completely different. You will say that, okay, we have Oracle, we are using it for a long time, but we have this, but we have Sailfish, but we have Teradata, but we have MongoDB, but we have Redis. You will come up with so many answers. Why? Why there was a shift happened? The shift happened because of two words in the technology. One is called OLTP and another is called OLAP or OLAP. OLTP stands for Online Transaction Processing Systems and OLAP stands for Online Analytical Processing. When in the olden days your OLTP and OLAP were combined, why? Because there was small data. The data size was small. If suppose Citibank or Bank of America is processing 1 million credit card requests today or 10 million credit card requests today, maybe 15 years back, it may be 100,000 or 50,000. So the database is very small and they bought these mainframe systems or CICS kick systems, or they have used an Oracle kind of systems where all their transactions, online transactions were stored. Concurrently, many users can access it. EF code rule says that Anything can be done on that OLTP system in terms of transactions. That is why they call it as transaction processing systems. People wanted to generate reports using Cognos or business objects kind of tools, and they connected to those OLTP systems and they generated the report, and it was quite okay at that particular time. When data became more and more, then if concurrently you are running your ETLs and your reports and all, OLTP systems started going down, and they told that, okay, let us use OLTP only for the transaction processing capabilities, but let us come up with a new technology where I am going to store all my data into a single place, and I will use that single repository for my reporting, analytics and all, and they coined the term called data warehouses. When they have created the data warehouse, at the time they wanted a database for this, and that database is what you call as an OLAP database. Teradata is one of the premier databases in this particular area, whereas Oracle is one of the premier databases in that area. So data warehousing, if you ask who is number one, maybe you may get an answer. Teradata, I don't know now the situation, how it is. Right, so that you got, and this is called a data warehouse. And now you wanted mechanisms to bring the data from OLTP to your data warehouse or OLAP. Immediately, Claudia, like people came in and told that, hey, I am here, I am the ETL person. And the term extract, transform, and load came in. Nowadays, people use extract, load, and transform, or ELT. ETL and ELT. That is what is being used. So what's the purpose? Bring the data from the OLTP system to your OLAP system and create a data warehouse. They use tools like Ab Initio, Data Stage, Pentaho, Talent, IBM. All these are the tools that they have used in order to do that. Premier companies are using Ab Initio, one of the fantastic tools for ETL. And when that ETL process will happen, it will happen in the night when the transactions are low, as a batch process, where you will take the data from the OLTP systems and will do a transformation and will load into DWH. How are you going to load it? In relations or tables. And that will be created according to a data model that will be created by the modelers in your company. Data model can be divided into two categories. There is an in-mon model and there is a Kimball model. These are the two generalized models that are used in the industry. One says that you should always use normalized forms for storing the data. Another says that you should use a star model for storing the data. A normalized form means you have a table in which there is a primary key, there is a foreign key, and the primary key and the foreign key can be joined, and you will be creating well-defined tables, one for the customer, one for the account, one for the relationship, one for the transaction, so that your customer, account, relationship and transaction can be joined in a well-defined manner. They came up with 1 enough, 2 enough, 3 enough, Backus-Naur form, etc., etc. That's one model. Other model told that, okay, I will have a fact table and I will have dimensions, and this fact and dimensions are joined together. This looks like a star, so they call it as a star model. And then a variation came in called a snowflake model. So in a star model, you will have a time dimension. You will have, let us say, a kind of region dimension. You will have those kinds of dimensions, and by time, by region, you will come to the particular value. For example, I want to find out on so and so date on that particular region how many transactions happened for Citibank. That's a fact dimensional model. Everything was good and you were running all these things. And now this particular one is working today also for smaller or medium sized companies, and it will not work if a company like SBI, for example, State Bank of India, or Citibank, for example, where your daily data is 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte, the software that you used for converting from this to this is a humongous process, and it is taking hours and hours together, and it is loading the data into the data warehouse maybe by 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock next day, and the reports are not reaching the business, and your account revenues are getting affected. You need mechanisms by which you can make the things faster, or you want polyglot persistence. And what is polyglot persistence? Martin Fowler came up and told that, no, the world of using one database for my data warehouse is gone. Now, what I need a specific kind of databases for my workloads. For example, if I want to do a financial transaction and all, yes, the reporting and all, RDBMS is the best. But if I want, log all the data where the user is doing all the behavior, Redis is one. If I want to store the catalogs of all my products, MongoDB is a good one. If I want to create a shopping cart for my company, React is a beautiful database. Similarly, if you want logs, Cassandra is another columnar database. And if multiple databases are being used in the place of a monolithic monoglot persistence, you call it as polyglot persistence. So we are studying MongoDB, because MongoDB comes into one category where you can use MongoDB for certain purposes, which may be the best suite when data warehouses are not supporting it. Next question is normally being asked is when you should use a NoSQL database. A very famous interview question, for example. Or you yourself can think, how can I make a decision whether I need an RDBMS or I want a NoSQL database? You should always talk about gap theorem. This I will be talking again in Spark as well. What is gap theorem? Gap theorem consists of 3 letters, as you can see. C, A, and P, where C stands for consistency, P stands for partition tolerance, and A stands for availability. C, A, and P. Okay, I just wrote C, P, and A for some reason. Consistency, availability, and partition tolerance. And what is gap theorem saying? Gap theorem says that out of these 3, only 2 can be satisfied at a time. And don't ask me why. You search and find out the scientific reasons and the experiments that that gentleman has done. Like Heisenberg's uncertainty principle in chemistry, he came up with a gap theorem. Gap theorem says that consistency, partition tolerance, and availability cannot be satisfied at a time. Only 2 can be satisfied at a time. So, next important point. In the whole world, any database satisfies partition tolerance. What is meant by partition tolerance? If the system is dying, I should be able to bring it up, or it should be available by active state or passive active state, or by DR, or by restarting. You can get partition tolerance. It's guaranteed, 100% always. Now we are in trouble. What is the trouble? Out of the 2, only 1 can be satisfied now. Why? Because partition tolerance is given. Now let us look at the first property, consistency. I have an Oracle database. A credit card transaction came from, let's say, Sarita. Assume that there was only $100 remaining in her credit, and she used that $100. Immediately she is going to another shop, and immediately, next second, and she is again going to give the credit card for $20. Should it work or not? Should it be working? It should not work, right? Because it was the only $100. Whatever changes that you are going to make in the database should be consistent, which means that immediately anybody who is looking at your data should be reflecting that change. Otherwise, it will be a big problem in the industry. And who should satisfy consistency? OLTP, right? Because all transactions are going to OLTP systems. So, if consistency is important for your use case, you will use RDBMS or OLTP. Now, I am creating a copy of all my data for the next day reporting. Assume that the data is not available for the report. You can rerun your ETL and create that report again, right? Nothing is going to stop, right? Nothing is going to be as bad as the previous example, am I right? What is important there? Availability is important there, not consistency. Look at the use case. And if that availability is important, then you will go for NoSQL databases.
So MongoDB replaces the data warehouse and the OLAP part in that old picture, right?
It cannot be replaced.
But it's a substitute for it.
Polyglot, one section. There is a use for that section. But the first rule is consistency important for you or availability important for you? If availability is important, it's NoSQL databases. If consistency is the most important concern for you, so that classifies. Now you have 10 NoSQL databases. Which one to use? I'm going to come to that. But you now know whether to go for a NoSQL database or an RDBMS. Am I right? We are in that level.
So one more question. So you said we came to NoSQL because the ETL was a problem. It was difficult loading that data warehouse. Isn't this a problem still because we're still loading MongoDB, right?
Yeah, it is still loading MongoDB.
But
we are going to eliminate all those problems.
But is it not a problem? Like the ETL won't take that long with loading MongoDB?
It will take.
It will take long?
It will take. Okay. Yeah. That problem is not resolved. I just told that. How will you decide whether you want a NoSQL database? Remaining non-functional things we are going to solve. So let us assume that 10 NoSQL databases are there. We have not decided yet whether MongoDB we should use or not. Hive we should use or not. Cassandra we should use or not. We don't know. But we know now for this particular use case, an RDBMS is important or NoSQL is important. Correct? That classification may be made. It is like buying a house. Right? First you will understand, okay, which region you want to buy a house first. Then we will see which house. The region will be having many houses. At a higher level, we did the classification.
But this ETL is faster in case of NoSQL?
No, it is no relation at all with the NoSQL. Don't bring ETL now.
Okay.
We have not gone to that. Alright. So, that is the concept for NoSQL databases. And now, you come back and execute. Don't worry about some of these slides, history and all. And look at this one. What is this? OLTP or OLAP? Both. It can be OLTP or OLAP. I'm just taking a MySQL example. This is a classic way of storing Twitter data. How will you store it? Oh, I have got posts, I have got tags, and I have got, every tag has got maybe a post tag, and for every post I have got comments, maybe your Facebook or Twitter. Right? And look at that ID. What is it? Primary key. Every table is joined. Immediately, what is the problem? Is it good for reporting? No. Why? Every time you will be doing a join. And just now I told you your data is 1 terabyte, and try to join a 1 terabyte table with another 1 terabyte table, you will know. 2 hours or 3 hours. What is a better way of representing? There are many representations. Okay, what is this representation which we have seen already in our MapReduce program? CSV file. Right? Comma separated value files. What is this representation? What is this representation? Where did you see it?
HTML.
Build.xml we used 20 times, and you added that MapReduce lib directory. It is an XML file. In an XML file, you have to learn, you have to study. No use otherwise. I'm talking about a previous session. We had the target called build. That is what every time I was doing ant. When I write ant, that build.xml is getting executed. I told you all these things. So, in that, every start tag has got an end tag. Every start tag has got an end tag. You cannot have an uppercase here. It should match. It should be lowercase. It is called extensible markup language. HTML is not a language for representing the data. Can I represent the data in XML? Okay, can I represent this class in XML? Tell me. Yes, I can. Very easily I can represent the class. I am going to create Hadoop class. Finish Hadoop class. I have members. Finish members. I have name. First member, Ravi. Name finished. Again, next name, Suresh. Name finished. Beautiful way of representing the data. You can't do it in HTML. In HTML, you will write the presentation tags, not data. HTML is a language for UI, not for representing the data, but data I can represent. CSV? Yes, I can represent CSV. Members, name, I can just put that columns and I can put the comma. What is the problem? If I give this data to any system in the world, what is the problem? The problem is the system which is receiving the data has to load that entire thing in the memory. Why? If it is not understanding where Hadoop class is ending and where members is ending, it cannot extract that names. So the program which is receiving, if I tell you by removing this, and if I ask you how many members are there in this particular class, of course you will count, but without counting, by looking at the XML, you will tell that no, I cannot tell, because how many names you are going to write, I don't know. What is the problem with XML? Start tag, end tag, and everything should be loaded into the memory using a SAX or DOM. Simple API for XML or document object model. These are the two famous constructs in the world of programming. That means if I am storing or sending the data as XML, it is expensive. If I want to send that XML to, if he is a programming system in .NET and I am in Java, tell me what is the pain that I need to take if I want to send the data to him. First I have to read it, then I have to create an object, and then I have to give it to him, and then the .NET system has to take that object and convert back into the file, and then you have to read it. Yeah.
Video got disconnected, I think. Wi-Fi, internet got reset.
It's not there now. It's not there now. Let it come. Right? So,
You'll have
let
to,
me know once it comes.
yeah, then you'll have to share the screen again.
Yeah. So the problem with XML is that, so you will have to, you cannot load it to two videos unless you know how to do the mixing. So that's an assignment for you today.
Yeah.
Use a mixer, okay? Don't screw it up, huh? Two
No, no.
videos are there. So
It's
one,
connected.
huh? It's not
It's connecting
connected
now.
for me.
It's connecting.
Okay. Version batch 2.4K. I have not got version batch 5 yet. Yeah. I got it. And now I'll call you back.
Let me also connect. Connect as it will connect automatically.
It's connecting. Take a while.
Hmm.
Anyway, we'll continue. So, you have to read that, you have to completely parse it, and you have to do that everything into the memory, which will create a big problem in the source system as well as in the destination system. Tell me a better way of doing it. Are you getting? Your connection is too weak.
No, it's
Still connecting.
Alright. Once it is connected, you call me. Oh, you cannot call because I have to share the screen. It is showing connecting now. It will take time. Because at least 5 to 10 minutes it will take. So, the source system and destination system are needing to have parsers and make it very expensive. That's why the people came up with a new ultra nice format. It's an innovation you will see in UIs. Log into Facebook. A beautiful logic is happening on that Facebook page, which very less people are able to do. Immediately Facebook will show you the main portlets. These are all called portlets, sections. And you will not notice so fast that these are all loaded first and slowly the other things are coming in. But it is so fast that we are not able to identify. If you are running it in a low network area, you will be able to see that very clearly. They have done it using some framework. Okay, the same thing is applied by Twitter as well, LinkedIn as well, and they use Play framework. And the most important thing is, if suppose I select something here, only this one will be refreshed. The entire page will not be refreshed. See the magic, the customer experience that you get. You will not go to the next page at all. It will be refreshing there. What is the technology called? Anybody? Okay. If I search for my contact or my friends, automatically if I type yes, all the names under S will come. Suryakant 22 will come, Suryakant 20 will come, the cup tea, Suryakant will come. How? Beautiful. It is called Ajax. Asynchronous JavaScripting in XML. How this is done? This portlet is going to send a message to the server, and the server is going to send the data for refreshing only that portlet, not for the entire page. Olden days, what happened? The entire page will get refreshed. Very bad. And that data which is getting communicated should not be XML, because the system will go down if suppose you are sending an XML. It should be very fast. So what they did, they invented something. What is Ajax? Asynchronous Java in a XML. Sorry, asynchronous Java applications. Ajax. That asynchronous Java, look at the word asynchronous. That means it is not waiting. It is just receiving the data and refreshing it, right? They invented a new format, and that format is called JSON, JavaScript Object Notation. You cannot escape this. OpenShift. If you are going for Red Hat containers, if you are going for Kubernetes, If you want to do anything in the future in the infrastructure area, you should be a master in JSON. Any configuration file nowadays. Amazon, APIs. Any API you look, everything is JSON. How JSON is written? Just put a curly brace. Right now, name Ravi, comma, next name, next name, next name. That's all. No start tag, no end tag. What is the advantage? Any system can start from here and take one by one without loading the entire thing into the memory. That's called JavaScript object notation. And then let us use that JavaScript object notation. Is it okay? No, I think there is some problem. Okay. So we have to continue without recording that.
That's fine. But the recording is still on, sir.
Okay.
We don't have to
the
two
voice.
videos. No needed. The assignment is completed here itself.
All right.
It's only one video.
So, if suppose you are looking at the representation, what is a beautiful representation? See that? The previous slide in which you had the primary keys, 4 tables, joins and all, I embedded everything into one single thing. And I'm going to represent this as a start curly brace, an end brace, curly brace. This is automatically provided by MongoDB. Title and this one, the slug, body, published, created, comments. Why it is an array? This square bracket is an array. What does that mean? Many comments are there. Title is only one. Oh, sorry. Title is only one. See how you have represented that MySQL or OLTP database into so simple format. This is how your data is stored in MongoDB. MongoDB stores the data as JSON. In the healthcare, if you get extol documents, extol is what? HIPAA standard documents. Every medical claims and everything will come as extol. You can take individual elements and you can convert it into a JSON. And you can store that particular data as a JSON file internally. Right? This is what is making MongoDB unique, because it can store everything as JSON. Now, what is the advantage and why that is so important if you store in MongoDB? What's the big deal? Because all these kind of systems who want a JSON file, because Amazon APIs and everything, React.js and everything is working on JSON, because all the infrastructure configurations and everything is done on JSON, if you store it in MongoDB, just to get the data and apply it. See how easy the things are. If it is a database, you will have to take it, you will have to convert it. If it is XML, you have to take it, you have to parse it. All those are getting eliminated. And there are more advantages. And now, please answer the question that you asked. Will the ETL be faster if I store just dump that complete data? Or will the ETL be faster if I take each and every element, apply the transformation and then I put it? What's the answer? This will be faster, of course. Got it, right? And then some terminology. What did you see in the previous slide? In the previous slide, you have seen a document. This is a document. And how will you identify a document? A document starts with a curly brace and ends with a curly brace. Inside there will be so many set of curly braces, but there will be a start and there will be an end. A document have fields. What are the fields? This line is a field, this line is a field, this line is a field, etc. Every field has got a key and value. Have you heard that word any time before? Key and value? Where? Where did you hear that word key and value before?
MapReduce.
Absolutely. Clear? Good. Now you understand the relation why in Hadoop course we have key and value and why we are including MongoDB.
So, Ravi, because the data is stored in the form of JSON, right? It's in files. That is why MongoDB is scalable, correct?
No. Scalability is coming from a different perspective. Why Oracle is scalable? It is not stored in JSON. Scalability is database property, not JSON property. Nothing JSON has to do with scalability, correct? Oracle is scalable. Teradata is scalable. Did I use JSON MongoDB for scalability purpose or did I use for any other purpose? What was our criteria for selecting MongoDB?
Availability and
That's the answer. It is not for scalability. Scalable, every database is scalable.
but their Oracle and all are not as much scalable as this, right? Like if
Why,
you-
why?
Because if you want to if you want to increase the space and all, right, it's a big deal, right? To increase it in.
This also is a big deal.
This is just files, right? You put it on Hadoop and it is just a JSON file.
No. What is Hadoop coming in? Where is Hadoop coming in MongoDB?
Well, if you
Where did I tell you Hadoop?
no, you can put these files on Hadoop, right? You can put the JSON files on Hadoop, right? You can stay on Hadoop.
Then you
right?
don't need MongoDB. Then why you need MongoDB? You are getting completely confused. Many technologies. Hadoop is Hadoop. Forget Hadoop. If you put a JSON in Hadoop, then use Hadoop and use MapReduce in Hadoop. Don't even talk about MongoDB. MongoDB's internal storage is JSON, man. There is no Hadoop there. MongoDB and Hadoop are not related. Are you getting? It is completely different. It is not for scalability purpose. It is not because HDFS is scalable, MongoDB is scalable. No. Forget. Assume that you never heard about Hadoop. This is a database which contains JSON. That's all.
So is it helping only with querying because
Why?
of JSON?
Where you can
Like
store.
is querying is easy, like
Storing?
storing is easy, or but the querying, like the normal SQL where we query all the databases, right?
That join condition is eliminated. It
That's
is
it.
faster.
So
yeah.
that way it's helping. This
It
JSON.
is faster. That is another
query.
advantage
Okay.
of JSON, right? So please understand these terms. In a database, if one department wants to use a database, what is it called in the database? In the database, how will you segregate?
Schemas.
Set of schemas. Database has got schemas. MongoDB has got so schema is equivalent to collection. What you should do when you want to work with the MongoDB, you have to first create a collection.
Collections.
And inside the collection, you are going to store documents. Just now you have seen the document, right? You are going to store that document. Like, tell me what is the equivalent of that in the database. Inside the schema, you will have tables. Come on, man, what is this? Tables in database will have rows and columns.
Yes.
You will have key and value, fields. That's all. Collection, documents, fields. And now you are going to see beautiful another property, the most powerful property. I want to represent a person now. How can I represent a person? I think it should be fine now. Because I see the AC sound.
It's still connecting only. Shall I reconnect the Wi-Fi?
No, it's still continuing.
It's still connecting for you also, no? It's for everyone. just
Oh.
connecting.
Yeah, some problem. Now, what is that most beautiful property that we want to have inside this? So I want to represent a person. Okay, so let's represent. Okay, I want to represent the person named Will. His eyes are blue. His birthplace is New York. He has got aliases, two nicknames, Bill and Ladiasho, whatever it is. And the location is this particular one, longitude and latitude, and his boss name is Ben. Very nice, Jason. Start curly brace, end curly brace. You have got keys and values, one document. Right? I represented a person. Please listen. I have an employee table in my database in Oracle. I am representing name, salary, and let's say age. Okay, Scott, 1025. We are telling that this is Scott, right? There is another person, Alan, and you have only one name column. But Alan has got a first name and a last name, and you want to store that also. Tell me what you will do. I'm asking a database question.
Create one more.
What's that?
Add additional column.
Okay, I added additional column. So what is additional column that you want to add? Well, maybe first name. Assume that this is the last name. Okay, so Alan, salary 2000, age 30, and the first name we will make it as Mark 11. Another person came. He wants to represent his hat color. What should I do? Additional column. That means then you are going to change your ETL also, because you added the additional column. That additional column also should be part of the ETL now, right? All your queries, entire queries in the world, whatever you have written, your reporting and everything, that also you are going to change.
But now the databases have JSON data type, right? So you can put that, right?
Name equal to Jeff. I is equal to blue. What? I is equal to blue. Okay, I is equal to blue. Location is completely different. Boss equal to Ben. So there is no birthplace here. There is no aliases here. Is that valid? Yes, it is valid. Because in database also it is valid. Null. But look at this. Another person name equal to Ben, but I introduced hat. He has a hat. Yes. Next I introduced name and only aliases. Next I wrote name, he eats this type of pizza, and his height I want to add, location I want to add. All this will go to the same collection in MongoDB. MongoDB is schema-less. Database is schema full or schema, it has a schema. You have to create table with your columns before you insert. You never create a table in MongoDB. You just insert, keep on inserting. And now assume that you are writing a query. Find out all the people who has hat. MongoDB knows that this fellow doesn't have a hat, so it should be null. And this fellow has a hat, it is yes, and it will query. This is called schema on write. Databases are called schema on write. What does that mean? You have to create a schema before you are writing it. MongoDB is called schema on read. You don't have to create a schema before writing. Super interview questions. If you answer all these things, you will be getting a job. So schema on write and schema on read. MongoDB is schema on read. Hadoop is schema on read. When you put the data, Hadoop FS minus put, no schema, nothing. Just put the data. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Where did you give the schema? In your mapper program, rs.getString, That is the key. And then you created the value. Hadoop is schema on read. So big data is schema on read. You work with schemaless data. Excel is schema on read. You can put 10 columns, you can put 20 columns, you can put 50 columns, you can put 100 columns. These are called semi-structured data. Semi-structured data. This is called structured data. Okay? So schemaless allows any kind of documents. Now you tell me, won't the ETL be faster in this particular case? You can just take it and dump it, right? So you solved that problem. Next important problem. Okay, healthcare. One person has got medical problems which is completely different from another person. One person has got dental issues, another person has got eye issues. A dental person may not have spectacle, whereas an eye issued person might be having a spectacle with specific lens. How can I store this data? Different people, different attributes. MongoDB. That's why in healthcare, MongoDB is very, very, very common. External documents, if you are familiar, completely different attributes. Claims, if you consider, completely different attributes for completely different claims. An emergency claim might not be same as another claim. Best possible way is MongoDB. While I was at my previous company, what I did is, they wanted to create an application catalog for the whole company. Whole company's applications. Applications means somebody has got a UI application, somebody has got an ETL application, somebody has got a Cognos application, somebody has got a database application, somebody has got Unix scripting. I want to store all those things, and they were thinking of using a database. How can I represent the typical web application, database application, scripting and ETL into a specific table with some fixed columns? Impossible. So, web application, one document with all my attributes of the web application, the application type, application server, web logic, web sphere, all these things will come here. And if suppose I want to do a scripting application, Unix will come here, and bash script or Bond script or C shell, it will come here. And if suppose it is a ETL application, Ab initio tool will come there, and the co-op system file name will come there. I want a schemaless data. That's what MongoDB is providing you. It is one of the fantastic databases when you are dealing with the disparate data segments and you want to store everything. Right? Quickly, let us install MongoDB. Okay? So what we are going to do, I am not going to install the MongoDB latest version, because I will be showing you a reporting tool soon in the next class or so. That reporting tool is having a problem to connect to the latest databases. Why? Because MongoDB advanced a lot, but that reporting tool did not advance.
Oh.
So we will use an older version of MongoDB, but everything works.
We still don't have internet.
What?
We can't still connect.
Oh, we can't connect. Then we'll do in the next class. Maybe in the next class I will take a little bit longer. Okay, we will install and we will write our applications. Is the concept clear?
Yes.
Why MongoDB? What is NoSQL databases? Why NoSQL databases? What's the relation with the big data? Why you should use it? What is OLTP? What is OLAP? What is data model? What is star model? What is normalized model? How you will be distinguishing between whether you should use an RDBMS or whether you should use a NoSQL database. Clear? Do some reading. I will upload this material. This material is nothing, okay? Just you can look at that.
Then I'll
Is the
stop it.
internet there? No?
It's still reconnecting now.
Oh, actually,
It's
it's just
connected.
connected.
It's connected.
Just connected.
Connected? Okay.
Connected?
It just-
Okay. Then we can do. Okay, please look at my screen, and I want you to do this. First, you look at the screen and don't click, and later don't lose yourself. Okay. So, I'm opening
Don't worry.
the browser. Go to MongoDB.com. Please go to MongoDB.com. No need to do it in virtual machine. Even if you are doing it in the virtual machine, that's okay. But you don't need MongoDB to be installed on the virtual machine. You can do it on your laptop directly. Done?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to go to the products and click on, please look, MongoDB server. Are you there? Click on try free on the right hand side. Right? Click on the middle one called server. The middle one called server. And listen now, on the right hand side, you will see some options, and I want you to select all version binaries. Are you all with me?
Yes.
And now, this screen will be different for you depending upon your operating system. I am in Mac, so I am seeing all Mac versions. If you are on Windows, you will see all the Windows versions. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down until you see the version which is some 2.2.1. If the 2.2.1 is not there, what is the closest number? Yeah, I have the 2.2.1 in Mac. See?
Is it 3.2.2.1 or something?
Not 3. It should start with the 2.
And for Windows, you said which one to?
Which is the available? I don't know what is shown in your screen. What is the latest, last available? Last available. Scroll down and see. See, I scrolled all the way down and I found out 2.2.1. Just to do a Control F and search for 2.2.1. You are a programmer, man.
No, what you are saying is that download the latest available by the modified date, or
Download the least available version.
or least available.
2.2.1.
2.2.1.
2.2.1.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Take that 2.2.1. So he found means Sheetal, you should be also be able to see.
2.1.
It is already installed, my dear friend. You installed
I
it
know,
now.
I know.
What is it?
Yeah. I told her.
She wants to do. You cannot
Yeah,
just
no.
simply you tell and. Have you downloaded?
Yes.
Okay. What I want you to do is go to your home screen. Home screen. So your name will come there.
Yes.
CP /downloads. Because anything you download in Mac will go to downloads folder. Never type the complete word, use the tab key. Otherwise you will make spelling mistake. DOWN tab / type that M. Then if you type the tab, that MongoDB file should be filling in automatically. Put a dot after that, space dot. Space dot. What is the meaning?
Current directory.
And press enter. Claudia, are you following?
Not copied. Alright.
Identical.
Why, what happened?
LS class?
Sheetal, can you please help her?
Already there?
No.
Sarita, you?
Good. अच्छा.
जो PWD का है.
Are you in the home directory?
Downloads मध्ये
We are not in home directory. We are in home.
How will you go to home directory? CD, press enter.
हाँ आता कर. और
And then CP,
M.
M.
tab. That means that file will be. Oh, I don't know whether it is in downloads directory. You have to check from your downloads.
It's not in downloads.
Don't follow me in Windows.
Yeah.
What I mean to say is that zip file you copy to your C drive. Use Explorer, Suresh.
Yeah, I'm using Explorer.
Yeah. So it will be there in the downloads folder, right?
Yeah.
Control C and then put it in the C drive.
Executable.
Have you done or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
After that, I'm waiting. All of you done?
Yeah.
Where is your zip file you copied, Sheetal?
It's already there using MongoDB.
Okay.
is there.
Unzip that for Windows and for Mac users. Type what is the extension of your file.
.tgz.
How will you unzip? What is the command?
xv.
Type now then. What is the command? Why are you waiting for me?
Tar.
So asking
Tar.
yourself, the tar. After that, what is the word?
xvf.
XVZF.
XVZ.
Hello. XVF you will use if the extension is .tar.
Okay.
If it is TGZ, you will use XVZF.
xvf. Okay.
For you, Valsal, if I am thinking correctly, it will be there in your program files inside of MongoDB.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
See? Extracted, Suresh?
Yeah.
Huh? What did you get?
Extracted and then the folders, it's created folders and files.
What folders and files it created?
Mongo dump, store,
MongoDB.
export, import.
64 and 2.2.1.
Okay, very good. Please look, you should be getting this, but don't follow my directory structure. This is my system. So I have the 2.2.1 version, I unzipped it, I created a directory, and then I have ls like this. Yes or no? You should have this. Yeah. Remaining leave it.
Yeah, true.
Yes. We have that.
Alright?
Yes.
Open another terminal. For you, no need to do. Suresh, what you need to do, I will tell you. Please wait till Mac is completed. I am opening another terminal. Blue color. Create mkdir /data and please put sudo. Wait, please understand clearly. /data means what? Where are you creating? From the root. And you cannot create any directory in the root unless you are a super user. So what it will ask? It will ask you the password once you type this. Please do that. Sudo. Okay. Windows no. Only for Mac. Sudo mkdir /data. Created or not? It is asking the password and you should give the password. Press enter.
Yes.
Created? Now you are going to write permissions to that folder. What is the command in Unix for giving the permissions?
chmod.
So write chmod. Next command is chmod. Chmod -r recursive 777 /data. Press enter. No data, /data.
/data. Sudo.
No need of sudo for chmod, right?
Unable to change.
It's done now. We have
Okay.
to use sudo.
Now you go to cd/data because you should be able to go to cd/data now because you are already in the super user prompt. Create a directory called db, mkdir db. Look at that. I already created it. That's why it's showing. mkdir, not /db, mkdir db. What does that mean? You are creating the db directory within the data.
Within data.
And now do chmod -r 777 no space db. Press enter. Right? And what Windows users are going to do? Create a directory called data in C drive and then create a directory. You already did?
Yeah.
Ah,
And
very
that
good.
DB.
See, I created a directory called db within that. and right click and make sure that attributes are writable. I think by default it will be writable only. Windows is not a big problem. You have everything well, so don't change anything. Huh? Now close the terminal and come back to your MongoDB terminal. Right? How will you go to the terminal? Did you open the command prompt? No?
Yeah. We have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Windows.
Open the CMD and go to MongoDB directory. If you want to make it simple, then MongoDB blah blah blah, blah change that to a nice name called MongoDB 221. How will you do that? MV. Don't go inside the directory and change it, okay? Move that directory name space MongoDB 221. If your MongoDB structure is 221. Done? Claudia, are you following? What is happening? It's a simple commands. I'm just creating the table, creating the directory, and then just changing the name.
Yes.
Shidal, can you please look? Otherwise, I will have to come there and tell you.
My chmod. I'm still doing
Yes,
my
it's
chmod.
pretty much got up.
Got up? chmod minus R
Yeah.
777/data.
I see my slash data, but no such file or directory.
Wait a minute. 1 minute, Shidal.
I've got my slash data.
Please give me.
Okay.
chmod says no such file or directory. Okay. -7 data. Okay. Where you created the data directory? Why sudo password /data chmod -R 777/data. Chmod is the problem. Okay. So chmod, and always remember that along with chmod you will be using capital -R.
Okay.
And now you go to cd/data, and I told you to create a directory called mkdir-db, and then chmod -R 777 to db also. Done.
Gotcha.
And now close that window and go back to that MongoDB. Okay, change the MongoDB directory. Is this the only window or you have another window?
That's my
Yeah.
Only window, okay.
Then you-
CD, and then where is your MongoDB creator?
Not there yet.
Did you download at least?
No. 'cause,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
I
So
know.
we have to download.
I will.
Yeah,
Fine.
please download, and then after that you have to copy it to your home screen. This one, and then unzip it.
Gotcha.
Are you in the directory? After you are in the directory, go to CD bin. And think always about God. MONGOD. MongoD. D. Interesting.
Yeah, that's fine.
Your last line should be listening on port 27017. Then everything is correct. Correct, huh? Fantastic. Great.
It's waiting for connection on port 27. Yeah.
Open another terminal now. I'm keeping it in different color. Go to the same directory. What happened?
So, Windows also same one?
Inside the bin, there is mongod.bat batch file or exe. No, don't write dot slash. Windows doesn't have dot slash.
Yeah.
Just type mongod.bat. Go to the same directory. MongoDB 221. Now, God is already there, so we are now going and then just typing Mongo, okay? Dot slash Mongo, sorry. Okay? Hey. Sorry, CD bin.
CD bin, yeah, that's what.
Dot slash Mongo.
/Mongo.
Can you go back to your previous screen and did you see any messages there?
Connection accepted.
Ah, very good. Excellent. See?
Yeah, for us it's still waiting for connection.
No, it should not be. You have to troubleshoot. Very good, very good. Open the other command prompt and you are done.
Which one?
Mongo, you have to run Mongo.
This one.
So MongoD is for server.
How share
Mongo
MongoDB
is for
so
client.
take that. So
and type your first command. Show space DBS. Show DBS or show databases, I don't remember. Anything came?
Local empty.
That's beautiful. You are not having any databases. I have many. That's why it is showing. So you created your MongoDB and you connected to your MongoDB. Remaining, we will do in the next class. You should have this running when you are coming to the next class.
Can you confirm the version?
Huh?
Can you confirm the version number for Mac?
221. Control F.
2.2.1.
Please
Yeah.
press Control F and write 2.2.1. Okay, we'll see in the next class. Remaining things. How will you stop?
Exit.
First line.
Control D on the Mongo window and the other screen should show end the connection. Should be very clear. See, end the connection is the last line. And again press Control D, Control X or Control C on the other window. That's all.
Exit. One period before another one.
Okay.
Control Z can you go?
Now what I want you to do is,
One period, doesn't matter.
please listen, very important. Go to forourson.com/passion. Now it is completely your work. My work is over. My friend is programming, concept 1, concept 2, concept 3, concept 4, everything I have showed. I typed myself. I told you to create a document. Nobody has created a single document yet. I have asked you to create a document for your virtual machine installation. You didn't create. And now you are going to do everything. So click on the file or right click that file called mongodb.pdf in forourson.com/passion. This is the file, mongodb.pdf. If you come down, you will see there is a file with starting with the letter M.
Yeah.
Please look and don't tell that I didn't see it. Huh? See this, I am selecting that file, mongodb.pdf. Okay? Up to page number 11, please complete by next Tuesday. If you don't complete it, unfortunately, nothing will be understood to you. And I'm not going to spend time on that. If you are completing, then only there is a meaning for continuing in the next session. Otherwise, you won't understand. Up to page 10 or 11. Okay? And remember one thing. You can directly copy each and every command which is given in the